AI is transforming real estate, driving innovation, enhancing decision-making, and shaping smarter, more responsive urban spaces. Please put your hands together in welcoming to the stage Ali Sajwani, Managing Director of DAMAC Properties and founder and CEO of Amali Properties, and of course your moderator, Mousa, Senior Presenter at Forbes Middle East.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It is so great to be back here for day 2 of Building the Future, for this fireside chat where we are really going to be asking what happens when the art of building collides with the intelligence of machines. And so to answer that question and so much more, we're going to be diving into how AI is reshaping the real estate world, from anticipating buyer behavior to designing cities that respond in real time. It's not just about smart homes anymore, it's about smarter ecosystems, seamless customer journeys, and bold decisions backed by data. And so leading this transformation is someone who lives at the intersection of luxury, innovation, and next generation development. As Managing Director of DAMAC Group and founder and CEO of Amali Properties, he's really redefining how technology powers vision. Ali Sajwani, welcome.
Thank you for having me here today.
It is so great to have you. There is so much for us to talk about. You've been up to a lot. So let me start here. Let me ask you, what are some of the tangible ways that AI is already influencing decision-making at DAMAC and Amali? We were just talking backstage and you're like, this is old news now. We've already done so much and we're going to be doing so much, whether it's in design, investment, customer experience, or operations and more.
So let me take you through the entire journey. DAMAC Properties was founded 25 years ago by my father. Until today, all the land acquisition is done by him. And it's really based on gut feel. He's an entrepreneur, he has a sense for the market. And based on his gut feel, he decides to buy land. And usually from the time we buy land, 6 to 8 weeks, the product's in the market, so we're extremely quick. Now, my dad, may God give him a long life, won't be around forever. So we've been thinking, how can we get that gut feel, but how can it be data-driven? Today in Dubai, you have all of the data sources are publicly available. So you can go online on the portal and see on a daily basis what are the transactions, what are the unit types, what are the prices, which areas in Dubai are selling well, what are the unit sizes and ticket prices of our competition, which is doing well. So we've been bringing in those data sets into the company, and based on those data sets, we can say, okay, Maritime City looks like it's picking up, and because we're lucky, we've built a foundation that's very quick to market, we can quickly acquire the land and launch within 6 to 8 weeks. So you reduce the dependency on that gut feel decision making, and you're driving it more towards data-driven decision making. And we've seen the value in that. In December, we had the report generated purely from AI, and it looked at our 5-6 biggest competitors, and we saw a trend that 3 out of the 5 competitors were suddenly seeing large transactions from China. We were not. So immediately we sent our team to China, reactivated the broker network and said, okay, what's going on? We must be missing out on something because our competition is clearly doing something right in that market. And I can go on and on with the examples from pre-product launch to the design of the product. When we're designing the product today, the ticket sizes, the sizes of the units, what's moving in the market. We get that data from publicly available data sources, and we use it to design our unit sizes. How big should the 1-bedroom be? How big should the 2-bedroom be? What is the ticket price which is moving quickly? So are we underpricing? Are we overpricing based on who our competition is in the area? This is all being done by machine learning and AI today. When you come to post-sale, when you come to the digital marketing side, we used to have armies of people managing our campaigns. So they look at every Friday, they would sit down and they'd say, okay, we have 30 campaigns running in these countries. These campaigns are doing well, let's spend more marketing dollars on them. These campaigns are not doing so well, let's cut them off. Today on a daily basis, we get a notification saying, you have 50 campaigns running. These 3 are going to do very well based on your previous trends, spend more money. These are not doing well, cut them off. And these need you to fix the artwork, fix the audience, etc. You're removing tons of people, making it more efficient and more cost effective.
It's amazing that it's going into such detail when you're talking about fix the artwork on this campaign, you know, different things like that. AI goes really deep into the details of every single decision that you're making, isn't it? And particularly as real estate has been an industry that's kind of been slow to adapt to change, but you feel like this is essential to where you are right now. How is it affecting your operations?
So we've actually been working with machine learning since 2021, 2022. AI has been probably in the last 2 years, but before that you had machine learning. So if we look at our operations on the collection side, we have a team of almost 120 people who do the collection calls to the customers. Around 2 years ago, using machine learning, we started segmenting our customers into different buckets: low risk, high risk, medium risk. And this is based on their nationalities, their trends of payments, the type of units they're buying, locations of the units, price points. One very important metric is if somebody's bought a unit in a certain building or certain location, what is the market price today? Is it higher or lower? That really influences if he's going to be a tough customer to pay or an easy customer. Now, when we went live with the model, it was a disaster for the first 6 months. Because when it comes to AI and machine learning, there's a lot of trial and error. You need to keep tweaking and fine-tuning these models. But after 6 to 8 months, we saw the model started working much better. And today, the conversions on the AI, so certain calls are done purely on an AI voice agent who speaks to the customer. And the tougher buckets or the tougher customers, we have humans call those customers. And the conversion percentages are very close between those 2 segments. Now, overall, our conversion percentages improved almost 12 percentage points, which converted into almost 300 million dirhams of extra collections a month, which is $1 billion a year. Now, you measure the ROI on that and tell me how great it is. It's phenomenal. And that's how we try to track our AI initiatives. If there's no solid business case and no real value generated out of it, we scrap it, we move on to the next case.
As you say right there, data really is the gold in AI. So what types of data specifically are the most valuable for you in your real estate ventures, and how are you leveraging that in terms of your predictive planning as well?
So when it comes to product design, of course, the most important data sets is the unit size and the ticket price. You need to see what's moving in the market and what are consumers looking for. And that changes. If we look at 2021, 2022, the hot segment in the market was the super luxury, big units, high price points, and that's where you made the best margins. 2023, that sort of cooled down, and in the last couple of years, we're looking at the market picking up in the mid-segment, which has been the bread and butter for DAMAC properties for the last 25 years. So these are the main key metrics you need to look at in the market which help you influence your decision making on product design and land acquisition.
As you say, this is something that you've been using, looking at, not just now, but for the last few years. What does the future look like for you when it comes to integrating AI into the real estate industry? And do others need to catch up?
Look, there's some of our competition which we know are doing decently well. Some of them are far behind. 2 pieces of advice. First, when you're working with AI, run a hybrid model at all times. Because it can go very wrong, and you could have a model performing well, helping you, and then suddenly something shifts. So make sure you don't go and get overexcited and scrap all the humans in the business and say, I'm going to rely on machines. It's not going to work. We try to think of the AI tools to assist our management in making them perform better. But of course, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage in the process. Today on the legal team, we're looking at a software called Harvey.ai. This is basically, today when we want to buy a land, there's big contracts, the purchases are in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dirhams, and it takes a team of lawyers spending weeks negotiating these contracts and these terms. Now, using this software, it tells us, okay, over the past 10 years, Mr. DAMAC, these are the clauses which you constantly look for. We have your history of redlining. We have your history of all of your land acquisition contracts. how the revisions have played out with different clients. So with Dubai Holding, this is what they focus on. With Nakhil, this is what they would focus on, etc. So now putting it through the software, instead of having a team of lawyers spend 3 weeks, within a few hours, I get all of the insights I need, all the redlining that I need. Now, this is not affecting, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, it's not affecting a low-paid employee base. It's affecting people who've spent 10, 15 years educating themselves to become top lawyers. And suddenly, I don't need 40 lawyers, I'm going to need 6 lawyers. Lawyers who are good at negotiations, no longer lawyers who are good at going and reading contracts. What are these people going to do? How are they going to retrain themselves and re-educate themselves? In the engineering side, I have 170 engineers in my technical team. Their job is to review all of the work that the consultant does. So when I'm designing a building, the consultant tends to over-design. He wants to be safe, so he'll add 50% more piles in a high-rise. That hits my pocket. So my team's job is to negotiate with the consultant, review the design, make it efficient, and bring my costs down. Today, we don't see the software existing, but I'm sure in the next 3 to 4 years, probably even the next 2 to 3 years, there will be softwares like Harvey AI is making lawyers more efficient. There's going to be these softwares coming into the engineering realm, and it's going to make a lot of these jobs redundant, because it's going to do it much more efficiently and much faster. How are these engineers going to retrain themselves, who've spent tens of years, in their profession and getting to where they are? And I think this is going to be a big challenge for governments worldwide on how can they actually control the situation and find jobs for these people.
It's quite the irony, really, when you think about it, because AI doesn't exist without us. It wouldn't be here without us feeding it the information that we have already learned ourselves and have spent decades, each one of us learning. And yet, when we put in that data, that information into AI to train it, it's going to come back with something far, far better. So as you say, this will be a critical challenge in terms of how we move forward with it. And speaking to that, with such incredible, rapid advancements, how do you strike the right balance between human insight and machine intelligence in shaping the spaces that people want to live in?
So again, we look at really what the competition is doing and what's selling well. When it comes to the human-AI interaction, in a lot of cases, AI is going to replace us completely. But there's also some other areas where AI will not be able to replace the humans, like in the sales department. Sales is very much human-based interaction. It's a relationship sort of play. You need to have those closing skills where, at least until Elon's robots come out and replace humans completely, hopefully we should be safe. But where these salespeople can use AI is today, before I put a lead in front of my salesperson, I've collected a lot of data about you. I know how you've interacted with my website. Where have you clicked? What products have you looked at? So, and this is an old technology. It's not something new. It's like a recommendation engine. So when you're coming into the sales office, I'm telling my salesperson, this customer is coming looking for a townhouse or a villa. This is the price point, this many bedrooms, etc. Now, the salespeople who are going to be able to excel are the salespeople who take these data points and use it to help them in their closing skills. What we see is most salespeople, and most people in general, are very resistant to change. And those are the people who are going to be left behind. They don't want to re-educate themselves, and they don't want to upskill themselves on using new technology. They're scared of new technology. But those few people in the organization who do decide to learn how to use these technologies, they're the ones who are going to thrive, and they're the ones who are going to get promoted and really be something more substantial in the future. And the people who are very resistant to change are the people who are going to be in trouble in a few years.
It's really interesting, because if you're using AI, if you're in sales, as you say, and you're using those data points, you're already halfway there. As soon as you've started talking to that customer, and it's similar to when you get ads popping up after you've just been to a website, suddenly you see that everywhere, and it's, direct you. So your advice for the new generation of real estate developers, we talk about it's difficult for people to change after doing something for so long. Do you see that in the new generation as well?
In some of them, yes. In some of them, no. Look, today if you want to come and you want to be a real estate developer, I just gave you great examples on how you can use publicly available data to influence and help you decide on which lands to acquire. You can then go and optimize all of your digital marketing spends using AI. When it comes to your operations, in the past where you'd need an army of people in your CRM team, today you have AI chatbots and AI voice bots which do a great job. So you just need to buy the software, you need to know how to use the software properly, but you don't need to hire an army of people anymore.
What's the most difficult thing to change?
Culture.
How do you change culture?
You tell me. I've been struggling with it for a long time. Culture is one of the hardest things to change in any organization. I mean, let me describe it to you like this. Let's take DAMAC Properties and Amali Properties. DAMAC Properties is like Titanic. It's this huge ship. You try steering that ship and making quick, agile movements. It's close to impossible because you have people who've been there for tens of years. They're used to doing things in a certain way, and it's hard to change that mindset. Whereas in Amali, you're like a speedboat. It's a small team. It's younger people, so you can quickly change direction as you need. And that's the difference between big organizations and smaller, more agile organizations. The bigger you are, the harder it is to change the way you think. And let me put it in a very simple way for you. I'm Muslim. I've been going to the mosque every Friday for 32 years. If you come and tell me you need to stop going to the mosque and go to the church every Sunday, it's going to be very hard for you to convince me. But it's much easier to convince a young child about that. And it's the same thing when you have a huge company and things are so deep-rooted in you, it's very hard to change the way you think, the way you operate. So it's a big challenge, and we do struggle with the changing culture. It's not easy.
Maybe it's a question for AI. How do we change the culture around this? Ali Sajwani, what an absolute pleasure it is to have you. What incredible insights. Thank you so much for joining us today at Building the Future. Thank you.
My pleasure.